Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. I'ma knock it out the park with this one, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. Queens get the money. Queens get the money.
Welcome to Queens Get the Money. I didn't want to show up here. I really didn't. We were in the back talking for quite a while about anything outside of the Mets. I am Barry Grant Jr. That is Tom Greer. That is Nicole Benante, the silent assassin. How are you two doing? Because I'm not doing well. So you guys can take it over because I don't want to speak right now. Because if I do speak, I'm going to go on a tirade. So please, anybody else can be able to take it. Go ahead.
You go, Nicole.
I feel nothing, honestly. Like, there's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain that, like, honestly, like, why should we care at this point? Like, I get, like, it's emotional, all this stuff, but, like, the team and the management and the front office and stuff is not giving us what, you know, the Mets fans deserves and even, like, what Steve Cohen deserves. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm just not invested really anymore. I don't really want to spend my money on this team anymore. As you can see, even tonight, that there's 2,000 people there. Like, there's no one in the ballpark, which I think is more than well deserving. I know it sucks for Steve Cohen. Like, none of this is his fault, but it's, you know, the team is absolutely just, it's not even, I feel like, a team. You can't even call them a team. It's Juan Soto and Nolan McLean and Peralta and Holmes, and then everyone else.
Not to cut you over, Nicole. Shouts to Armand in the building. Thank you for suffering with us, Armand. Shouts to you. You can be doing anything else with your night, but you're here with us. Tom, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it really is like, it is that weird numb feeling. Like, I will admit to you, like, I still turn on every game, and I still am like, okay, get this win, and here comes the turnaround, and it just feels like a gut punch, like every single time. Like the Mets can't beat anybody if they're trailing past 3 innings. It feels like any time that they get a little bit of a spark that they're going to show you something good, they fall on their face the next day. And it's just really disheartening. It's really disheartening simply because, like, we all expected better. Like, we all looked at this team going into the year and we're like, you know what? Yeah, we might have some concerns, but we expected better than this. Like, this is just, it's one day we score a ton of runs, which is still few and far between. The next day, it's like we all forgot how to play baseball. It's mind-numbing that we got to sit here and we got to watch a team that's starting Tyrone Taylor almost every day, that's starting MJ Melendez almost every day, that's got Brett Beatty booting balls at first base, and can't hit. He'll, hit a meaningless home run every once in a while to give you some hope. But Mark Vientos, can't hit. I mean, he didn't start today, but it's just sad because a lot of guys that you expected a lot from, and they're just not really giving it to you, But I mean, Nolan McLean's second in Cy Young right now, so that's cool, I guess. I do want to say something that I know I saw it on Twitter, and I saw it yesterday that I know is going to probably make your head explode. But last year, the thing that's keeping me going, last year at this time, the New York Mets had the best record in baseball, and it amounted to an embarrassing end of the season. The Mets this year have the worst record in baseball at this point in the season. So that little bit of hope is like, okay, maybe we're going to turn it around. You know what? We had the best record in baseball last year. We didn't make the playoffs. Those games didn't matter. The Mets suck right now. Maybe these games won't matter. That's all you got. That's all we got. That's all we got at this point. That's literally all we got at this point.
Armand says, bad news, I'll be at the game tomorrow. Good news, I don't have to see David Peterson and Sean Mania.
Exactly. They definitely won't be going.
Armand,
both of them.
I will be at the game tomorrow as well, my friend. So if you want to link up, we will definitely link up and share suffering stories. How do I start? Where do I start? I'm going to start with what you just said, and I am sick of it. The Stockholm syndrome that we all have. Okay, we need to stop it. This team is dead. Okay, dead in the water, dead, dead, dead. I don't care about no playoffs, because even if this team makes the playoffs, I have no confidence. I have no confidence that they're going to do anything. This is not a team that I want to see anywhere near the playoffs. This team is not going to get any better. You can be able to bring Polanco back. This team stinks. Okay? Because here's the problem. And we didn't even realize this after the offseason, because we were so excited, right? We were so excited for new baseball and all this stuff. There's so many fucking holes on this team outside of the lack of depth that we have on hitting. When you go back and think about it, there's $341 million payroll. How do you have question marks for your rotation going into a season? I can understand having question marks as the season goes on, because maybe two of your starters that you paid big money to in the offseason go down. And now it's like, okay, what do we do? How do we continue to just kind of like balance this out and hopefully just tread water until they come back, right? Like, just don't let the ship sink. We're just kind of maintaining, right? We went into the season with question marks. With the highest payroll in fucking baseball. Make it make sense. I can understand if you had one particular hole. The whole bullpen was questionable. The back end of the rotation was questionable. You have question marks all over the field in regards to what guys were going to do. How do you do that and think that you're a competent person that watches baseball, or you're supposed to be a competent baseball person in the front office? Explain that to me. That's the problem that bothers me. We've seen what Mark Vientos did last year. There was no reason for him to be on this roster this season. That's a fact. I don't care what you tell me. Don't give me no numbers about no 2024. What did he do last year? We heard about Luis Robert. We kept hearing about 2023 season. What the fuck did he do for 2024 and 2025? How far back do we go to try to find some positive stuff about guys' stats instead of looking what the hell is in front of you? You have a medical game plan for Luis Robert, and he's still hurt. He's barely playing and he's still hurt. So how's that plan worked out? You signed Polanco. Man, never played first base in a day of his life. But you thought that was going to be okay. Yet the only first baseman that's in the organization ripping it up, he's down there in AAA. How many times do I have to see images of AJ Ewing killing it down there? And then I look at MJ Melendez and then I see Brett Baten. I see all this garbage in the outfield. And then on top of that, what do? You drop what's the dude name that we DFA just now?
Tommy Pham.
Tommy Pham, right? You DFA Tommy Pham, and who do you get? Oh, don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Austin Slater's coming. The fuck are we doing? You have this well-touted minor league system. Use it. I am sick of David Stearns. I am sick of David Stearns. I don't care what happens for the rest of the season. The Mets can go, they can win every game for the next 3 months. I still need him gone. I still need him gone because his philosophy is stupid. It doesn't work here. You can be able to take that garbage down to Kansas City, take it down to Sacramento. It don't work here. You see what the Dodgers are doing? Even when the Dodgers weren't spending big money, they weren't making dumbass decisions like this with their roster. You know why? Because they had smart baseball people in the front office. They weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They weren't trying to have the smug BS attitude that he constantly has. I can't stand David Stearns. I will give Mendy a pass. Although I believe that Mendy, it may just be time for a new voice. I will never give David Stearns a pass. He's the one that has this bullshit philosophy in this organization, and it feels worse. That's the whole point, is that when we had the Wilpons, we knew what the hell we were. We used to always look through the curtain and look at other teams and be like, oh, we wish we can be able to spend like that. Oh, we wish that we can be able to land a guy like that. Oh, like that's the type of feeling that we had. But you know what the Wilpons gave us every so often? Baseball people. Baseball people that kind of knew what they were doing. Give me Omar Minaya 90 times out of 92 outside of David Stearns. I will take Omar Minaya tomorrow. Tomorrow. I would take Sandy Alderson tomorrow.
I will say, I mean, I can't disagree with you. You know, the plan that we've seen has been bad for the last 2 years. It's been really bad. What you have to kind of sort of hope for is that it's building up their minor league system so we can be those other teams that just seem to have guys coming up every year and contributing. I don't know if that's really kind of sort of what the Mets are looking for, because a lot of the guys that came in were a lot of money for short-term deals, because I'm assuming David Stearns just wants to fill it with guys coming up from the minors, but that doesn't help us now. I think that's probably what the most frustrating thing it is. And I just want to, you said that the Stockholm syndrome has to end. I just want to be clear. It's not a Stockholm syndrome that like I'm just going to believe in what Stern's doing and everything like that at this point.
What has he shown you why you're believing it? That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying what I'm doing in saying that, you know, what I'm doing in saying that I still watch every game hoping that the turnaround is coming is not because of David Stearns. It's for my own sanity I want to be able to believe and go watch a baseball game. I don't want to live in a world where it's April and this team is dead, because you know what? Mathematically, the team isn't dead. You know, it looks bleak right now. It is not fun right now. The Mets are giving you absolutely no reason to believe it. But it's not over. It's not totally over yet. And I think we're probably going to end up having to see some of these kids come up if the injuries start to mount and guys continue to not perform. Armand, you're totally right. Nick Morabito, I don't know why he's not here yet. I don't know why I still have to watch Tyrone Taylor. I don't know why I still got to watch MJ Melendez. Give the kid you're 10. I think we're back to 10 games under, or is it 11 now? I think it's 10 now. You're 10 games under 500 in the basement of the NL East. I don't know if they might still be tied with the Phillies regardless. It's time to just give some kids a shot, give some other people a shot, because clearly the guys that are here now are not doing it. And that's, I defended David Stearns going back into the offseason. I feel bad for Mendy because I think David Stearns fucked him. Mm-hmm. I really do. There are not many things. There's not many things that I look at Mendy and I don't criticize other managers for doing. You know what I mean?
He's not perfect, because I have my
manager's perfect
with him, but can I lay all the blame on his feet? Absolutely not.
He's got to play. All he's got to do is fill out a lineup card of the guys that David Stearns gave him. You know, that's all Mendy can do. He can shuffle the lineup all he wants. Like I would almost welcome the conversation of arguing about Mendy if a guy's hitting hitting like 340 and then he subs him out for a guy like that matchup conversation that we were having earlier. I would be happily criticize Mendy for that because we'd have a guy hitting in the lineup. Mendy can replace anybody in this lineup at any point in time. Because if your name is not Juan Soto, you're not hitting. You're not producing. Mendy can't make these guys hit a baseball. Yeah, they have to go fucking do it. David Stearns hasn't given him the weapons to go out and win. It just hasn't happened.
Armand says that the Mets have the worst record in baseball because Philly's game got postponed, which is
because
great.
of the rain. Yeah, I wish it rained in the 5th.
I thought about this the other day, and I didn't say this in our group chat because I wanted to save it for here. Carlos Mendoza is still here because that's David Stearns' cover. Once you get rid of once you get rid of Mendoza, there's no more veil. There's no more wall. There's no more protection for him. His clock starts once Mendy goes. That I'm not saying that they don't like him, but I'm saying that you see a trend in baseball. This is as old as time. The team is not producing. You cannot fire players. You can fire front office people. You can fire hitting coaches. You can fire instructors. You can fire anybody. Bench coach, right? You can't fire the players. But the first person that's always going to fall on the sword is always going to be the manager. That's just the way it goes, whether it's their fault or not. That's just what happens. So when you have the start that the Mets have had, and you stick with Mendoza because you like him, that doesn't do your fan base any good because we want to see some change. You got to remember, this is a trend now, right? And you see the logo. I know I'm going to block it from Tom so he doesn't lose it. All last season, when the offense was sputtering, and we were just like, something needs to change. We weren't really calling for Mendy's job, although I was kind of getting to that point, right? But what we were saying was, get Eric Chavez and Jeremy Bonds the fuck out of here. Get them out of here and just have a new, fresh approach, a fresh, somebody that can be able to just have a different voice in there in regards to the hitting to just make guys relax a little more, right? And what did Stearns do? He just stuck with the same garbage. Oh, yeah, the numbers. The numbers going to even out. They're going to even out. And they didn't. Everybody had that pit in their stomach from June on. I didn't speak to not one Mets fan, although they could have been positive or completely pessimistic. Even the positive fans were like, it's not great. Hopefully they can figure it out. There was no absolute fan that I spoke to. Everybody was on edge. You know why? Because something had to change. And we stuck with it because we have a GM president that's a fucking idiot. Let's call a spade a spade. I don't care where you can go to Harvard all you want. He does not feel baseball. He doesn't have a feel for it. I'm sorry. I don't care what success he had in Milwaukee. That's like somebody who worked in some poppycock place and then he goes to be the GM of Staples and he can't handle it. Oh, well, he was successful at poppycock. It's not the same thing. That's what people have to realize. Just because you were great in a small pond doesn't mean you're going to be successful in a big pond. It doesn't work that way. You need somebody who has experience building something that's huge. He's never done that. So we've given him all of this credit for being able to, build up the small little Brewers. Did they ever get to the World Series with him? No. So what is this well-touted boy genius bullshit? I don't see it. Because here's the other part, right? And we can move on to some other stuff. Outside of Nolan McLean, give me one young player that has produced since they've been here. One.
Well, they haven't had, like, Stearns' guys outside of bench haven't cracked the majors yet. I don't even think McLean was a Stearns guy.
So if
he might have been.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he was.
Who, McLean?
Yeah, I don't think so.
2023 or 2024? No.
If it's 2024, it might be him.
2023.
If it's 2023, then it's not him.
Nolan McLean, 2022. So no, not him.
So it's not him. Right. So it's not his guy. Not his guy. If his thing is I got the talent to go see the young players, then let's see that then. That's what should have been the fucking plan going into the season. If you have so much confidence in your young guys, then go that way. Don't spend on garbage. Go with your young guys. You understand what I'm saying? If your particular strategy is building up your farm system so you can give these young guys the opportunity, then do it. But if you're not gonna do it, here's the thing, Tom. This is what let me land the plane. If you're not gonna do that, then you need to go get bona fide players instead of fringe fucking players. Fair?
Fair. No, that's fair.
That's what I'm saying. Is that if you're gonna go one way, go all the way with it. But if you're not gonna go that way, don't give us fringe baseball players. Just don't. Jorge Polanco was great last season. You know why he was great? Because he played DH. This is a guy that has an injury history.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought that he was going to be able to play first base. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't want to keep taking time from you, Nicole.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say, like, it's a lot of high risk, mid to high reward situations when it's like, okay, you could have that maybe one or two, places, but literally
60% of your roster is make or break guys.
Yeah, like majority of your offseason moves were that type of situation. And it's just, for me, seeing the second half of last year into now, we have basically, obviously, clean house of the coaching staff except Mendoza, and the team is gone, essentially. Why is this team still the same? Like, what is the problem? And every time, like, we hear them talk, we hear the players talk, we hear Mendoza talk, it's, well, we have talent, we don't know what's going on. Like, this is literally unheard of, which, yeah, it's correct, like, it's unheard of, but still, like, from what they're giving us, they're even looking for answers. So it's like, what is the problem? And you're telling me now you're going on almost a year and you're still kind of grasping for what that issue is. I know, like, non-Mets fans like to say it's the Lindor Soto drama, which is, non-existent. Yeah, it's stupid. But there clearly is a problem, and no one wants to say, or they know what the problem is. And, it's literally from visual, it is pointing to David Stearns and obviously his moves and not really knowing how to build a team or a clubhouse with the correct personalities and all that stuff to kind of get through 162.
It's an organizational rot. There's something that's going on within that game plan in the front office that is just not connecting.
It's just like, because I would, at this point, I would like to see a lot of the young guys. I think we would have had a really hard time talking ourselves into a competitive season had the Mets had David Stearns relied on his young guys to go up there and fill those spots. So I agree.
It's fair.
The moves that I am most critical on David Stearns are Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn should be here. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but the guy could play first base. He signed a 2-year deal with the Pirates. That does nothing to affect a young guy coming up and taking that spot. It doesn't do.
You still have Clifford's trajectory coming up next year or whatever it is.
Absolutely, maybe even in September. Totally fine. Murakami should be here. He should be playing first base, and if he can't play first base, he just DH. and we'll be fine. I think what the big miss is feeling like you're going to be able to rely. Actually, there were two big misses. Feeling like you're going to be able to rely on Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. That was a big one because you knew that a lot of those moves were being made because they were going to be like, no, we're going to give Beatty a shot in right field. No, we're going to give Beatty a shot at first. First base is going to be a position by committee between Polanco, Beatty,
he was
Vientos.
supposed to be the super utility guy.
That was a mistake. Brett Beatty is not prime Jeff McNeil. It's not a thing. The second issue that I have with the Mets is Francisco Lindor is down with a calf injury.
No backup.
No backup. But again, no backup. I'm fine with giving Ronnie the spot. Ronnie looks like he can't hit a curveball right now, which is kind of scaring me. But I'm fine giving Ronnie his shine. Let him get the reps that he's never gotten before in the majors. Cool. My problem is Francisco Lindor missed an entire spring training, and then essentially an entire spring training, and then went out and started opening day. Is it far-fetched to think that might be why he's hurt right now?
100%.
Is it far-fetched to think that maybe you should have given? I understand you can't really
spend some time in AAA or something.
He should have spent some time in AAA, and I understand that from a image standpoint, you don't really want that. Like we were talking about how shitty that would feel if we're cracking camp and Lindor's not playing, especially after the offseason that we had. But if it would have mitigated this, like we just lost Juan Soto for almost a month.
Days, yeah.
We're going to lose Francisco Lindor for what feels like maybe even the All-Star break. You know what I mean? So like, what are we kind of doing here? So I definitely feel like David Stearns messed up. And unfortunately, it doesn't really sound like David Stearns is on a hot seat. It really feels like the Mets waited like 3 years for David Stearns. If we remember, like the Mets wanted him when he was in Milwaukee, but Milwaukee wouldn't let him out of his deal and he wasn't walking away. He took that weird like advisor role. Like he wasn't the GM anymore. He was just an advisor for the Brewers until he ultimately weaseled his way away and over here. So I don't think David Stearns is getting fired regardless of anything that happens. And I don't think Mendy's getting fired this whole season because I don't know if it's necessarily a scapegoat. I think it's the Mets looking like, what does firing Mendoza do? Does it make us that much better? Because do I believe in Andy Green? Do I believe in Kai Correa? Like, are they going to get it out of these guys? They're in the dugout every day and this team isn't working. So I think the Mets are just like, you know what? We're going to ride it out. Cora's not coming to another team. And we're just going to ride it out. And it sucks.
Well,
my biggest fear though is, and you can't live by this fear, totally understandable, is that we would let David Stearns walk or we'd fire him. And then we would see those young guys coming up and producing. It's like with the Giants. Remember how when Dave Gettleman left and everybody, Joe Shane took over and everybody was like, oh, wow, you know what? Dave Gettleman might have sucked, but like he is the only guy that could draft and bring in young players that actually ended up producing. You know what I mean?
But that's the
Gettleman
thing,
sucked though. So I'm not really. It was a terrible analogy.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a terrible analogy. It's actually really good because that's exactly who David Stearns is. Is that just because you can draft well or put the farm system together doesn't mean that you have GM powers to be able to do the heavy lifting in free agency. Hire a GM that has personal skills, that is well respected around Major League Baseball, and have them go out there and sign big fish because he can't do it. I'm telling you right now, this is going back to what I said before in the offseason. David Stearns cannot land the big fish. I don't care who it is. If you think that Tarek Skubal is coming here, I'm not believing that anymore. Absolutely not.
They'll have to give him they'll have to give him like the 10-year, 12-year deal. That's the thing. It's like a lot of these.
You have to overpay for somebody to come here because you can't sell them on whatever the fuck your plan is because you don't know what the plan is.
Well, because you're paying the Mets tax because the Mets have been a dumpster fire for most of our lives. So you're paying the Mets tax saying, hey, I'm going to pay you a lot of money. There's a chance you might not believe that we're going to win, but you're going to be making a whole bunch of money. You know what I mean? That's where that comes from. And especially the Mets are never going to get bargains on anybody because Steve Cohen's they're always going to have to spend the most money, the most years. They're always going to have to do that.
Maximus says we'll have a situation where Cohen gets stubborn on giving Stearns a chance to pan out. Yeah,
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'm really nervous about that. I really don't think so.
I think that he's going to stick with Stearns, and what's going to end up happening is that Nicole talked about that early on in the discussion. There was 2,000 people there, probably. You're going to continue to have that, if not less. People are not going to the ballpark to see this bullshit all summer. They're not going to do it.
I agree.
They're not going to do it. So if you losing gallons and barrels of fucking money is not a sign that you need to go cut bait with your boy Genius, I don't know what will. And if that doesn't happen, there will be a mutiny with this fan base. I'm telling you right now. These people, it's been a honeymoon of some sort. That shit is over. You're going to start to get the real Met fans now, because now it starts to feel comfortable again. We start to feel, oh, we know what this feeling feels like now. This is the same feeling we had 10 years ago. It's the same feeling we've had 15 years ago. Oh, okay. So instead of me trying to be positive and trying to flip the page, now I'm going to have to go back to what I know. That's what every Met fan is feeling right now. The fear of having to slide back to that bullshit.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. I mean, I think the only caveat is, like, I don't think we're going to get to a point where Steve Cohen's going to pull back on the purse strings and not allow whoever's in David Stearns' position, when David Stearns gets fired one of these days. I don't think he's going to hamstring people from being able to spend things like the Wilpons did that.
But that's not what I'm saying. Like, it has nothing to do with hamstringing anybody. It just means that I just believe that David Stearns he's not equipped to understand how to deal with a big payroll. He just can't do it. David Stearns is a guy that can be able to make magic if you give him $50. $50 is all you got. I need you to be able to make sure that this guy gets this, or we have groceries for this so we can make dinner. We can pay this bill. But he's a guy that can be able to flip that $50 into something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you give that same guy $300, he's not going to be like, okay, so you're giving me extra money. So what am I supposed to do? Like, I know what to do with the 50, but I don't really know what to do with the other 250. So maybe let me go ahead and go take some experiments here, because, we have the money so we can be able to course correct if we want to. No, that's not how you should be approaching this. You should be approaching this that I want the big fish. I'm going to find a way to get the big fish, and then we have to land them so we can put this thing together. He doesn't approach it like that. That's all I'm saying, is that Framber Valdez, we should have got more pitching. We should have got this. We should have got Murakami. We should have got all of these other players, because we wouldn't have this fucking problem right now.
Well, that's what blows my mind. Like, a lot of if that was the case, like if David Stearns didn't want to spend money and he just wanted to be able to do good with a small payroll, then why did he doesn't
want to? But before I don't want to cut you off. He does want to spend the money. He doesn't know how to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, that makes sense, because a lot of these guys sign for cheaper. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to spend the money.
Agreed. No, I agree. I agree with you.
The problem is that you're giving him something that he's never had to deal with, so he doesn't know how to spend it. He doesn't know how to allocate those funds.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea.
I agree. I don't know if there's I have to go back and look at the free agent pool over the last couple of years since we've had David Stearns. I don't know who those guys are that you could have given those like big money, high AAV deals to bring them in here to make this team better. I'd have to go back and look.
We can go ahead and go look at the last 3 free agent classes for next show, because obviously we're not talking about winning baseball, so yeah, we can go ahead and talk about any other shit. What are your thoughts about what I said, Nicole, in regards to him not understanding how to spend when he has the big payroll? Do you get that feeling as well?
Mm-hmm. I mean, so about like literally sticks out is the Frankie Montas deal.
Oh my God!
Like even the Polanco deal, people were pretty shocked at how that was kind of high because he's getting $20 million for 2 years, I believe,
Yeah.
$40 million total.
Which other deal last year? The Mania deal.
The Mania deal. I feel like that was, I think fans were kind of grasping on bringing him back, and that was kind of maybe also just like a fan type of move at the end of it. But yeah, that obviously clearly hasn't worked out. The Williams deal hasn't worked out. And I know we don't know the whole truth to it, but I remember I spoke a lot of last year's as Ottavino said that he does not know how to communicate, does not know how to talk. He's not a great social communicator.
He looks like a weirdo. He does.
Yeah, so that is a big issue when you don't have a GM, and the GM is obviously supposed to be the one kind of brokering the deals, and you have somebody that does not really know how to, I guess, be personable with players and agents and whatnot. So
not to cut you on, Nicole. Could you imagine, right? Let's just kind of let's role play a little bit. Could you imagine I'm the player and Tom is David Stearns, and this socially awkward fucking guy is coming into this room with this superstar player, and that guy is supposed to sell me on coming to the Mets? Do you understand the type of disconnect that is?
Yeah. It's even kind of difficult when you see him in press conferences, because it's just like he has that smile, like we said, like he's smarter than everyone else, and it's just like it's grimy, but like you want to believe him, but then after all he's done, like you just can't trust him. So I guess earlier on, like it could have played early on, but then now after almost a year now, it's kind of like, well, what have you shown us that we can buy into what you're saying? And then again, we talk about like the Soto deal was nothing involving him. That was all Steve Cohen. So what move have you made has given us any type of hope that we can trust you and what you're doing behind the scenes and getting these types of players? Because clearly it hasn't worked. Like Bo Bichette came here because at the end of the day, he got a phone call and saw that type of money and was like, okay, F you, Philly, I'm going here.
Right. It wasn't the fact that you sold him on some organizational dream that he was just like, oh, okay, I like that plan that they got over there. No. You gave him an absurd amount of money for a short amount of time, and he took that money. That's what I'm saying, is that poor decisions. I'm not even clowning Bo Bichette because he's a good player. But when you put a good player, and shouts to Alfred, Metropolitan Report. I was watching the show one day and he said something really, really cool. He used a video game reference. He said he plays a lot of MLB The Show. He said, you know what happens when you change a person's position? Their attributes go all the way down to zero. Like, it's not their secondary position. You're just literally changing a new position. Their attributes go down to zero. We have a bunch of players on this team where their attributes are down to zero. It's unbelievable that you can be able to just try to reinvent the wheel. And again, I can't even hate on a guy like MJ Melendez, but he shouldn't be here. He shouldn't even be here. You know what I mean? Like he shouldn't even be here. He shouldn't even be here.
You're right.
I'm not gonna shit on him. He shouldn't even be here.
I was like, just like quickly, I remember like when you guys were arguing about who was going to be that last spot. Was it Brujan, Melendez, whoever the case may be? I remember you, Tom, saying like, if we're depending on this player and this one, then we're having issues.
Yeah, exactly. See,
that's where we are. That's where we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And I like the Bo thing. Like I don't really worry about that too much because I mean, Bo Bichette's not the first Major League Baseball player, especially at shortstop, to go move over to third base. Like that shouldn't make you forget how to hit a baseball. You know what I mean? And I mean, Bo Bichette looks like he's been waking up a little bit, but I mean, not enough. MJ Melendez, I mean, he's only here because Mike Tauchman went down and Soto can't play the field. You know what I mean? That's really the only reason MJ Melendez is here. But it kind of goes to what you said going in. There wasn't enough there. We thought we had enough depth. We do not.
So Armand,
Clearly do not have
Armand
enough
has a good. He has a question here. He said, "Can I dispute bringing in a GM?" Go ahead. What do you have to say, Armand? I'll bring it up in the chat. But go ahead, Tom. Finish.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, with that, especially like I don't know what bringing in a GM does, because he's obviously just going to end up reporting to David Stearns anyway. So, like, is David Stearns still going to have to sign off on whatever that GM decides he wants to do? And if that's the case, then David Stearns is still making those decisions.
But it's a buffer, is what I'm saying. Is that, like, if you have somebody who can be able to talk, right? He might not be the guy, but at least he's the guy to be able to bring you to the guy. But I've already schmoozed you, right? I've already given you all of the information, and you have a rapport with me. So even though you might not have a rapport with the other guy that might be signing the checks, I know I can always come to you. There's a buffer there.
I guess so. Yeah.
There's a buffer there. That's why on teams, especially in basketball, if guys are not really rocking with the head coach, there's always some assistant coaches or some development coaches that you might get along with, right? There's a buffer there that your message can be able to get delivered to the head guy without necessarily bumping heads with the head guy. That's what that's what a GM would do in a situation like this, when you have a guy that he has his fingerprints all over the organization because he's been given the keys.
I mean, you can't dispute really anything at this point, because every move that the Mets have made for the last 2 years just clearly has not worked.
Armand says Dave Dombrowski is the Pobo and makes all the roster decisions. Preston Manley is the GM and does not make any roster decisions. GM in baseball.
That's ultimately what I mean. Like, look, when the Phillies were talking when the Phillies were talking about firing Rob Thompson. Did the GM all over social media and all over the media talking about his opinion on that whole situation? No, it was Dave Dombrowski, because sure, there's a GM there, but Dave Dombrowski's the guy that's making all of this. He's the player of baseball operations, but he is the GM. The other guy is just a sock puppet. You know what I mean? So
he's Don Mattingly's son. You watch your mouth.
All right, well, whatever.
Watch your mouth.
Whatever. I just that's the thing. That is the thing that does make me nervous, at least at this point. Is that
I don't think the Mets are ever going to bring in a GM as long as David Stearns is here.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm not confident. Maybe if it stays this bad all year, I guess you can't not. Steve Cohen can't not. He's a good businessman. He can't not think that it's a good idea to fire him. But with how long they waited for David Stearns to be available to be their GM, I don't know if they're going to cut bait. I really don't. And Mendy's probably going to pay the price for it, at least at the end of the season. Because Steve Gelb said it on the broadcast today. They do not want to fire Carlos Mendoza. So,
okay, so if you don't fire Mendoza, then you let David Stearns walk. We'll keep Mendy. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Yeah, but the GM's always going to want to bring in. If they get a new GM, he's going to want to bring in his own guy.
That is his guy.
I mean, no.
I'm
saying if a new GM came in, he's going to want to bring in his own guy.
Well, not necessarily. Sometimes you have a situation where the owner says we're keeping the coach, so you're going to have to figure it out.
Wait, yeah,
that's happened a lot of times.
Did Stearns inherit the last year of Buck, or did he sign his own manager? He had Buck last.
Yeah, he had fired Buck.
Oh, he fought. Okay, no, you're right. He fired Buck, hired Mendoza. Yeah. That makes now it's all coming back. Everybody. To me. Yeah. It's rough. I really just hope at this point we start seeing some of the young kids. I want Ryan Clifford here tomorrow. Like I don't know how many more times I got to see Brett Beatty boot a ball at first base for me to say, everybody wants Pete Alonso back. Guess happy news for you. Guess what number Ryan Clifford wears in the minors? 20. It'll be a big, tall, white guy wearing number 20. People. Oh, is that Pete Alonso? Is he back?
And listen, they're kind of like in the same mold of player. Only difference is that Ryan Clifford, his on base percentage is a lot higher. He walks a lot more than what Pete did. So he's a guy. But he strikes out a lot. He has massive power. I would love to see him. Armand says, do we trust Cohen to hire the right Pobo if Stearns is fired? Here's the thing, right? Let's just rewind to 2022 or 2023 when the shit fucking just was completely terrible. There were so many people that were like, yo, I think David Stearns would be a great addition to the Mets. Why? Because you looked at it from the outside and it's like, oh, you know, there's some young talent over there. They're producing over there. So it should work, right? But what we didn't factor in is that give me 4 players that he brought in regards to free agents, regards to like big dollar free agents that actually moved the needle for the Brewers, right? We never even considered that because all we kept focusing on was the player development, was the young player development that he was doing over there, which is impressive. He's done a great, if there's one thing that I can say positive about David Stearns, and it's very, very rare, is that he developed the farm system. The farm system looks very strong. There's a lot of talent that everybody around baseball says we have a lot of talent. We have to see how these guys end up coming up and seeing if they produce or not. But for whatever it is, there's talent down there, right? So everybody was kind of like, yeah, David Stearns should be able to work here because everybody's projecting out. Oh, man, he can be able to develop a farm system. Could you imagine what he can do with a big payroll? We gave him more props than we should have. Do you understand what I'm saying? We gave him too much credit before he did anything in regards to having that big payroll. The farm system is one thing. Cool. The other part of this that's very, very important, he's never proven himself anywhere, not even in Milwaukee, because he never had to land a big free agent. You know why? Because it was fucking Milwaukee. That's the problem.
Well, I think another problem is, and Armand said it right there. He said when Stearns was in Milwaukee, he extended Christian Yelich, which ended up kind of sucking for the Brewers because his back went, and he signed Lorenzo Cain, which was a big deal at the time when they brought in Lorenzo Cain. So that was a big money free agent. I think next week if we go over the free agents that David Stearns did or didn't sign, I think that'll be a good exercise because I mean, outside of Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I don't know who the Mets could have signed to go along with the core that they previously had or broken down that would have had them in that
we're gonna go over it.
Better position because Ohtani was never coming here. Like he was never coming. He was already going to LA. Yamamoto was already going to LA. Do we give him Kyle Tucker? But I wasn't going to give Kyle Tucker 7 or 8 years or 9 years. I wasn't going to do that. Should they have signed Kyle Tucker?
I feel like they made a big push at the end of the day. He just went to the Dodgers.
Yeah, he just wanted to go to the Dodgers.
Just wanted LA.
We gave him a bigger deal than the Dodgers gave him.
Yeah, so he just so I don't know if it's necessarily that he can't land the big fish. It's just like who is that big fish? Like even the thing, like I'm upset that he didn't sign Ryan O'Hearn. Would we consider Ryan O'Hearn a big fish?
No, but he's a very good stable piece. And yeah, that's something that we
would have looked at Ryan O'Hearn similarly to how we look at probably look at him Mark Hanna, and Mark Hanna moved the needle like a little bit, or maybe even you'd put him. He's healthier a little bit, but you'd probably put him in the sweet spot of Polanco. The only difference is he might not hit to the effect of Jorge Polanco career wise, but he could play defensive first base. Like you wouldn't be excited about it, but you'd be like, cool. All right. You at least got a guy to plug the hole. And it probably still would have left a sour taste in your mouth because he's taking the role of Pete. You know, Murakami would have been a slam dunk signing, but you don't know that going into the year.
Yeah.
You know, you have no idea what he's going to, you have no idea. Nobody had any idea that he was going to be hitting a home run every day for the Chicago White Sox. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's similar to what we were talking about in the offseason where it's like, who is that guy that the Mets could have brought in last year? Had they kept the core together or anything? Who is that guy that the Mets could have brought in and we're competing with the Dodgers? You know what I mean?
There was nobody that we're going to bring in to compete with the Dodgers, but I just think that having a stable team was bigger than trying to go for guys that could work out, or if it's a boom or bust. It's literally a strikeout or a home run. That's what he did.
That's what baseball is. Baseball is strikeouts and home runs now.
And but it's not sustainable. You need balance. You need balance. Like, here's the thing. Say we fortify our pitching staff, right? Say we have two other starters where their ERAs are 3.5 and maybe 4, right? So now you got very good starting rotation. Are we 9-20 or whatever the record is? Probably not.
If they're not hitting.
But we feel better just because we know that when we got guys that are going out there to total rubber every day, we got a shot, right? Right now, when David Peterson and Kodai Senga take the mound, you have no shot.
True.
You that's all I'm saying is that give yourself a shot rather than not. And putting this team together and looking at the holes that we had going into the season, it was more like, yo, these things got to hit because you're not giving a shot on the back end of this. These guys have to hit. They got to have Cy Young type years, and dudes got to start mashing home run. It's baseball.
That it is baseball, but I mean, like, look, I don't think it's ridiculous to say, like, okay, David. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that David Peterson could have went out. I mean, up until him imploding this year, I don't think it's crazy to say, okay, we brought in Freddie, we got McLean here, he's going to be our 2. Clay Holmes was best move David Stearns ever made was Clay Holmes.
Peterson struck out last year too.
I mean, he was good for a lot of the year last year. His arm just fell off. They extended him a little too much.
For 3 months.
He was good enough to be an all-star last year.
Good for 3 months. I hate that conversation with David Peterson. Oh, he was an all-star. Do you pick an all-star in August, or do you pick an all-star in friggin' May and June? That's what you do. He was garbage after June. Garbage.
I understand, but
he continues to be garbage now. His career outside of 1 year, he's been garbage. Do you understand that? He's been absolute garbage outside of 1 year and a half a season. That's not enough to stay here. This is the Mets. This is a team that has the highest payroll in baseball. You cannot be here anymore. We are not this dumpster fire where we're just going to give you a shot. We have too much money. Now. We have too much money to have you in our rotation. That's what bothers me. He should have never been here. Once you got the money, you should have left. You should have packed his ass up.
I just don't know who you fill it with. I don't want to give it to him. I don't want to give him
Valdez. You would have filled it with Framber Valdez. You'd have filled it with some other damn pitcher that we had in the offseason.
How much did he get from the Tigers?
What is he doing right now with the Tigers?
Oh, let's take a look. I know the Tigers are bad, so these might not be good stats that I'm looking at right now.
That'd be better than a 9.
He's got 3. Yeah, no, he's got a. Why is it not giving me his ERA? What are we doing here? 2026 ERA. Baseball Savant, you're killing. He's got a 3.41 ERA right now.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Would you look at that? Better than a 9, right?
Definitely better than a 9. Yeah, no, I mean, he's doing all right.
What bothers me is that you gave us garbage, and then when the garbage shows up, you're like, oh, we're surprised. We're surprised that this is garbage. You've been showing the garbage. He's been garbage. That's the whole point, is that the little glimmer of hope that you have. Oh, well, he was the little all-star. What was he when batter said, this ain't the same David Peterson. Okay, let's go ahead and do some research. Now we do some research and we lighten his ass up like a Christmas tree. And he hasn't been the same since. Garbage.
Okay, I would say David Peterson was very much a on and off, like good, bad, good, bad,
Yeah.
good, bad, good, bad for most of his career.
Average pitcher. That's the definition
Well,
of
yeah,
average.
but average pitcher is the definition of a 3 or a 4. It's a definition of a 4 of a 5 or a 5 starter. Like that's what I'm saying. Like right now he is garbage. But going into the season, like right now when you're looking at it, terrible. I would not be upset if they DFA'd David Peterson. I don't get him away. I'd be okay if he DFA'd Manaea at this point. I'm not into either of them. But going into a season, it's not far-fetched to think that a guy who's in a contract year, who is typically hot and cold, who's the only guy that gave you any length last year, could be a 4 or 5 starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we talked like the expectation for him, and then clearly it hasn't worked out. I feel like the only, honestly, sure thing from what we've seen out of the players, and you still had question marks, like we didn't know how Peralta was going to translate here. And then McLean, we only saw 8 games, so we don't know what that's going to bring into the future. So, like, Holmes was the only pretty much, like, the sample size that we saw, like, okay, this is, like, our only kind of guarantee of some sort of success. So then we were betting on Senga, we were betting on Manaea, we were betting on Peterson, and then I feel like that's just too much to bet on. You're betting on Peralta of translating, and then McLean, those are just too much of a small sample size, but luckily, our bright spots are those 3 guys and then Soto, but that's the only thing that we kind of, as Mets fans, get to enjoy when we get to see those guys pitch and Soto. So,
question for you both: do you guys still want to pay Freddie now, or are you worried about the innings?
That's a great question. Maximus just said that Robert's heading to the IL. Yeah, it was pending that way.
Come on, Morabito.
I was talking because I knew that he was headed to the IL. And what plan has it been? Oh, what a great plan. Oh, we're going to play him 3 days and it's still fucking hurt. Just dumb. So, okay, your question is now?
My question was, do you guys still want to pay Freddie, or did the innings scare you a little bit?
The problem that I have with this entire team outside of Clay Holmes is that everybody goes 5. The entire rotation goes 5. As great as McLean is, right? As great as Nolan McLean, he can only go 5. You can only go 5. So if you got guys that can be able to just go 5, if that's the new modern baseball, and you got a couple of guys that can be able to go a little longer than that, then you got to make sure that you have gas throwers in your bullpen instead of soft tossing guys that's in your bullpen. That's the problem. Do you know that the Mets have the lowest mile per hour in the bullpen in the major leagues right now? If they're not the worst, they're probably top 3 in regards to top worst. When you cannot throw gas out of your bullpen, you're going to get in trouble. In the modern game, you're going to get in trouble.
Bullpen's not what I'm really worried about, though. I'm worried about everything else.
That, but what I'm saying is, you asked me the question about, are you concerned about the innings? No, I'm not concerned about the innings because we have guys that just pitch that. So if you offset it with gas throwers, it's not a problem.
Agreed.
You understand what I'm saying? That's how you kind of like balance it out. If you're going to sign Freddie and then not have anything in your bullpen to be able to kind of piggyback that or make sure that you can be able to get through the game, then yeah, it's a concern. But you have to have gas that's going to be able to complement a Freddie Peralta, a Nolan McLean. You don't have that.
Nope.
That's the problem.
Agreed. No, I agree with you.
Hey, look, Maximus, 88 miles per hour from Manaea. What was the mile per hour that he threw when he gave up that granny the house?
I don't know. I didn't even want to look.
Was it 82? That's what it looked like to me on my damn TV.
It looked like 62.
He's throwing junk up there like Chet Steadman.
Oh my God. I don't want to see either of them again. I don't want to see him or David Peterson again, to be honest with you.
All right. Here's the question that I got for you guys. But Nicole, I want you to answer Tom's question first before I go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it matters what comes with it. Like, where this team is at, what players we have, what functionality we have as a team. If it's just like a signing just to bring someone in, like I'd rather, let him go somewhere else and have a good time there than come here and because then it's a waste at that point. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of his career. If we're just kind of going to be in the same position, why are we going to give that type of money for someone who, like I said, I can't really get through to 5 innings, which is kind of crazy, and to give him that type of money, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It just, for me, it depends where we are when that time comes.
Remember when I said, give me both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Give me 4 of them now. We need, I don't care what 4. We need 4 of them. All right, give me 4. Because look, who just said it? Let me see who said it. Oh, it was Armand that said that. Look, Peralta, Holmes, Weaver, Polanco, Robert, all of these guys are going to be wonderful trade pieces. So we're going to have a brand new team next year if we go ahead and go sell off everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need somebody. Give me 4 of them.
We were gonna have a brand new team next year, regardless.
Give me 4 of them.
Yeah.
Give me all 4 of them. That is my concern. Is that what else can we say?
You had a question.
I had a question.
You said you were going to ask us a question, but you wanted to let Nicole answer my question first.
I completely forgot the question.
Oh, okay. This sucks. Remember how excited we were at the start of this? We're like, yeah, we're gonna get to talk baseball, 90 wins, and
I think we jinxed this season with this fucking podcast.
No, I think I'm not putting that on us. I'm not putting that evil on us.
Who are you gonna put it on? Gotta put it on somebody.
Oh well, I'm gonna rightfully put it on David Stearns.
Okay, cool. All right, good.
Rightfully so. This team is not. His team is not. I mean, this team is just not good. It's not good.
I just think that we just have to. Whether they turn it around or not, I still don't think very highly that this team can go anywhere. If they make the playoffs, great, right? But there's so many holes on this team that I just don't trust him to fill, and that's what concerns me. Is just that this team just feels empty. There's just no life. There's no soul to it. There's nothing. Even somebody was talking about it just now with the whole who came up with that bullshit fucking celebration, that construction hat and the fucking vest. Juan Soto was so over that shit. He chucked the deuces to the camera and took that shit off. He didn't even stand there and take the frozen selfie. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else does. He's like, get this garbage off of me because I just want to go ahead and win this game. Enough of this garbage.
That stuff's cool when you're winning. It's not cool when you're losing.
It sucks when you're losing.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So they literally need to just bury that shit until you start stringing some wins together. Enough with that garbage.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I'm totally with you. I just don't know. I don't even I'm gonna keep my. I will start keeping my. We're gonna turn it around stuff to myself a little bit, just because I don't even I'll believe it until I can't anymore. But you just can't even. You can't even really talk about it, because it really is just. Bleak.
Kev Shouter, he said playoffs. We lucky we win 7. Listen,
yeah.
we're just talking at this point. I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe it at all. You know what I mean? But we have a podcast, so we have to literally try to be optimistic, even somewhat.
And
but I don't fucking believe it. I don't.
I can't in good conscience. I'm so sorry for cutting you off. I can't in good conscience just fold on a baseball season before the summer. Before the summer happens. I can't. I just can't. I cannot do it. I have to hold on to some hope that something is going to happen and we're going to have some kind of excitement going into the summer. I just have to. There's a long baseball season. We got a lot of games left. We got a lot of shows left. You have to hope that at some fucking point, these bats are going to wake up. You have to.
All right, here's a question. I think I got a new question. And I'm gonna start with Nicole. What would be your happy point for the season? What would you have to see to make you happy? And it doesn't necessarily have to be 15 wins in a row, but something that's going to give you some type of joy watching this team. What would it be?
Finishing above 500.
Finishing above 500. Okay. What about you, Tom?
The only thing that's going to make me happy is if they turn it around and make the playoffs. If they don't turn it around and make the playoffs, I'm pissed. You know what I mean?
If they turn it around and they come up short,
I'm pissed. I'm absolutely pissed. No, if they turn it around, that would make me more pissed than them being terrible the whole year. I think if they turned it on and fell just short, it's like, why the fuck couldn't you do that 3 months ago? You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm going to be pissed. I'll be pissed if they are this the entire season. I'll be pissed if they just missed. The only way I am happy and accept what's going on is if it gets turned around and we're talking about they don't have to win the World Series. They don't have to win the first round of the playoffs. They got to fucking get there though.
Okay.
I feel like for me, like what we're talking about, like even last year, like if they did make it to the playoffs, like Barry and I talked about it, is like we still don't really feel any type of way because they don't deserve to be there. So I'm like in that same boat where I feel like it wouldn't really do anything for me at that point because they don't, from what we've seen for the first month, they don't deserve to be there. And obviously, we have to see how the rest of the season plays out. But I don't know.
I will say, I can agree with you that they might not have deserved it for a lot of what happened last year. What making the playoffs last year would have done is it would have started something because you would have had back-to-back years of going to the playoffs. We don't ever get that. Ever. Yeah. Ever. We don't ever get. That's what that would have been. That would have, like, sure, the season would have sucked, but how many times do we watch a Mets season where the first half sucks, second half is kind of fun, and oh, look, we snuck our way into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that's so many of our Mets fans' experiences. That's what last year would have meant. You know what I mean? So this year, sure, right now they definitely don't deserve it at all, but they got to figure out a way to make it there because I'm not accepting anything less.
You know what would be my happy point? Through the rubble, right? Like through all of the pain and the suffering of the season. Like you find the Rolex through the dirt. And what I mean by that is that you start seeing some young guys have some real potential and you say, oh, that looks fun. Right? Because that's what it felt like when I saw David Wright and Jose Reyes. It's like, oh, I like these guys. Even though this team is garbage, I saw the Rolex through the dirt. That would make me happy. If I can be able to find some Rolexes through the debris, that will make me happy. So it doesn't matter about wins and losses to me anymore because I've already closed off that part of my brain. They're not making the playoffs. This team doesn't look like they have the leadership to make the playoffs. They don't look like they have the makeup as a team that it takes to be able to get through a season to make the playoffs. They just don't look like it. They look like a team that's literally just going through the motions. And it's already in April. And that's the sad part. There's two ways that this can go, right? Because when you have new parts to anything and it doesn't go off well, man, can that be an uncomfortable locker room or clubhouse because you don't know these guys and you're losing. So it's either two things. You can be able to bond through the chaos or you can be able to be more divided and it really gets off the rails. So that's what I want to see. What what diamonds are we going to find in this season? Because it may not be playoffs that's actually going to give you that hope. It might be these little pockets, these little diamonds in the dirt that you can find. And that's what I hope. That's what's going to make me happy. Oh, and as well as if they fire Mendoza tomorrow, that'd be good. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm still waving the flag. I need him going. I understand it's not his fault. I understand that he has garbage in front of him. But sometimes you want to fire the guy that's driving the garbage truck too, because the garbage is not being picked up on time. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming everybody. So if you get somebody else to drive the truck, let me be mad at him because I don't see him every day. I see you every day driving the truck, so you late, right? So everybody gets blamed. That's what that's who Carlos Mendoza is. You are the guy that's driving the garbage truck that's late to my house all the time. So I'm blaming you. It's not fair, but life isn't fair. We got anything else?
I'm tapped out.
It's sad. It really is sad.
It is. It is.
You know, listen, before
I'm seeing a clip on SNY right now that they're talking about the Mets trying to make a move for Christian Walker from the they could have signed him a year ago.
That's not well, I guess we can talk about that. The big bat hunting. So I didn't know that Christian Walker was a big bat. I had no idea. And they could have got him in the offseason.
They could have got him 2 off seasons. I think 2 off seasons ago.
2 off seasons ago.
Yeah.
Instead of Alonso.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they probably should. In hindsight, if you're not bringing Alonso back, and after the way last year went, they probably should have just done that. But I don't know. Like that's the weird part is like the rest of the league outside of what the NL Central is kind of mid. Like there's not a lot of good teams. So I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to sell this early, but
there might be some teams that might think about selling that you can be able to fleece, or you have to now give up a little bit more to be able to get that guy that they probably were thinking about moving, but now you entice them a little bit more to be able to make that move a lot earlier, right? So there has to be an enticing situation. Like, can I interest you in
a Mark Vientos?
And a Brett Beatty,
and
a David Peterson, and a inflated contract of Sean Manaea. Can we give you all of those guys?
Yeah. Do you want my garbage? And I'll take an aging Christian Walker from you.
We'll give you all of this young garbage. You can take it all. We just need this guy who's like he's like 58 years old. Yeah, we'll take him. Fine. Unbelievable. But listen, before we get out of here, you know, we always I'm just gonna bring some light to what we do here, and we have our segment that we always do at the end of the show. And my mission to Mars. Who is on my mission to Mars this week? I'm going to give you guys a clue, or not even clues. I'm going to ask you who will be on the mission to Mars. It's only one, but it's a good one because it's a very inclusive good one. Silent Assassin, who you got?
You said it was one. I was going to say the whole team.
Okay.
Yeah,
Men's organization.
That's fair.
I'll say the organization is one.
That is fair. The organization. Tom, what do you got? Same thing?
That's what I was gonna say, but I'll say that I feel like I want to say David Stearns, but you put him on there last week, I think. So I don't know if you're gonna.
He's been on there almost every week.
I was gonna say he's been on there every week, so I don't think that would be. Kodai Senga. I'll go a player. I won't pick the same one. I won't pick the same thing as Nicole.
It's a good one. Now, I have been ranting all year about players. You know, I've hit on a lot of them. You know, I've been right on a lot of them. But this one, I think, applies to every single Mets fan around the world, especially here in New York. If you're here in Flushing, if you're here in Queens, if you're here in Long Island, wherever you're at, who I have on my mission to Mars this week City Field. City Field is the new Mission to Mars. Listen, here's the thing. Since the place opened up, I remember when they opened this place up, and I was just like, this is not Shea Stadium. What is this? What is this? You went ahead and you gave us Yellowstone National Park. Then you brought the fences in, right? You made it look a little bit more Metsy. That's cool. I forgave you for that, right? The team is garbage. I don't want any Mets fan to grace this ballpark for the rest of the year. Leave it there. Let them go ahead and do concerts. Let them have Halloween drives. Let them have back to school drives. Let them put a basketball court in there. Whatever you want to do. We don't want to watch no baseball in here for the rest of the summer. You guys have ruined it for us. You, David Stearns, Steve Cohen, all of you people have ruined our experience. So we don't want to see City anymore. We don't want to see it. We love it, but we don't want to see it. So every Mets fan, just don't show up. Don't show up. That's the only way that change will happen. You got to hit the pockets. So you got to make sure that place is a what they call it, sarcophagus? Is that what it is?
Mausoleum.
A mausoleum, whatever you want to call it. Just let it be that. Okay? Mission to Mars. Let the aliens come and just pick it up and pack it up. Pack it up. So we're not even forced to go, because a lot of times when you're a Met fan, it's like, oh
no. The aliens got him. The aliens got him.
Did they get me? Maybe I clicked it on myself. It's a nice day. I want to take the family to the game. And you force yourself and you go to the game. No. We're not doing that this year. We're not doing that this spring. We're not doing that this summer. Nobody goes to City. That's my wish. And we're all going to be boycotting this thing. Mission to Mars, send City Field there. All right? That's all I got.
All right, so if anybody sees an individual that looks like me but is wearing a Bobby Valentine-esque glasses and mustache, I promise you it's not me. I can't let you I understand telling people to not go. Don't just City Field as a stadium is the best stadium in New York.
That's why I don't want people to go to it.
Okay, I just want to it goes City Field.
Yeah.
It goes like City Field, UBS, and then Madison Square Garden, then Yankee Stadium, and the Meadowlands doesn't even get to be on the list.
Yeah, I'm not dogging City Field as a ballpark. I'm just dogging the fact that we got this garbage. Yeah. We don't want to go to this beautiful place when we're getting garbage thrown at us. Okay? Yeah. That's like going to the zoo and you got the monkeys throwing shit at you through the glass. You don't want that. Mm-mm. You don't want that.
No.
That's all I'm saying. I love the place, but I gotta stay away. I'm going there tomorrow, right? I'm going there tomorrow, and you expect me to have a good time? Like, I'm gonna go there with my wife, and she's gonna, I love this place. Let's go ahead and go get a crunch wrap. Let's do all this. I'm just gonna be miserable as hell, miserable, and I don't want to ruin it for her. I want to ruin her experience, but it's hard. It's hard to have to go there and try to put on a smile, seeing this garbage.
Well, I hope they win for you.
I hope they don't.
Oh, don't do that.
No, because them winning is teasing. Just lose. I'm okay with losing.
No. Spoken like a true Jet fan.
Yes.
Now I know you're a real Jet fan.
They lose enough to start winning. Okay? That's what it is.
How often does that work?
When was the last time we seen a guy? Can we get somebody like Paul Skeens?
Elian Pena.
You know how you get a Paul Skeens, you lose.
Elian Pena. Yeah, but I mean, like the Pirates are going to ruin him. The Pirates are going to ruin him and not win anything.
What about give me a Connor Griffin? Let's lose so much that we can get a Connor Griffin. How about that?
Elian Pena.
He's good.
Elian Pena is the man.
He is good.
Elian Pena, Nick Morabito, AJ Ewing, Ryan Clifford might not be on that level. We don't know yet, I guess, but I mean, those guys look awesome. AJ Ewing looks like the man, and I can't wait for him to crack the majors.
Yeah, well, how long will we have to wait?
Well, he's probably a next year thing, or maybe I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anymore. He might be up sooner.
He's fast tracking through the majors. Call him up in 3 weeks.
Morbido. I want Morbido first. He's at least seen Major League pitching. He played in the WBC.
Yeah. Listen, for everybody that's in here, man, salute to you guys. Thank you for coming in here and venting with us. Armand's always a pleasure. Kev Shada, you're I think you're new to this, so respect to you. Maximus, respect to you. You know, we're trying here.
DeGrom was our Paul Skeens, by the way.
He was. We are trying here, but we are always gonna be here to try to be as entertaining as possible, even through the pain. You know, because that's what we do as Met fans. We are, you know, it's a beautiful thing when you see a Met fan in the street. Both got Met hats on, and you give that. You know what I mean? Because that you understand that pain. You understand what battle scars you have. You know what I mean? Whatever, if you were wearing a shirt, man, he probably got some battle scars under there. You know what I mean? Like, you just know we respect all of you. We respect every Met fan, even that part of the fan base that bothers me, right? The weirdos. You know, we all in it together, and we all just want to win. We all just want a competent product that we can be proud of, so we can be able to just argue about winning. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, what player's better? Oh, well, this guy's better. Can we have those conversations? Can we have those discussions instead of constantly feeling like this despair? It's enough already. Like, you know, I know a lot of people have some negative things to say about Steve Cohen, you know, whether it's the casino, whether it's him talking about green shoots and all this other nonsense. But the guy is literally trying. He gave the keys to somebody who he thought was going to be able to turn this thing around and build him a winner. You can't blame Steve Cohen for that. What you can blame Steve Cohen for is how long he sticks with this plan that's broken. That's where you start to judge him on. So let's see how this goes through the summer. If it doesn't improve, if they make the playoffs, but if this thing really gets off the rails, Steve Cohen has a lot to answer to. And if he comes back with this same regime, there's going to be a mutiny for these fans. I'm telling you right now. And that's where we have to just wait patiently. You don't have to support this team. You don't have to support the players, that, you know, the names on the back of the jersey, but we are always going to represent for the logo that's on the front of it. So, Any other words?
We'll see what tomorrow brings us.
Go get him tomorrow.
Go get him tomorrow. The only thing that I'm looking forward to tomorrow is All Even podcast. I don't even care about the game. I don't care. I don't care. I could be able to talk crap about, because my Lakers are losing right now. If they lose tonight, well, yeah, sure. Right. Fine. You know, just add to the misery of what's happening in my life. Until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace. Run prevention. Absolutely not. Run prevention. Break.